The lady and her servant are outside at night. The next day, Lady Yinghua is outside a shed with Maomao and Hongniang. A flashback is shown with Maomao showing Yinghua a lizard tail and her collapsing. She tells her that with Hongniang's consent, they will put her in a shed because she likes to collect bugs. Maomao is excited for this because now she can have more space and do more experiments at night. Back in the present, Maomao thanks Hongniang, but she is confused because she thought it would be punishment for her. Maomao is excited as she is ready to plan out her space. Later, the girls all share tea and one of them scolds Yinghua for telling on Maomao, but she interjects telling them that she asked for the shed. Yinghua wants Maomao to stop collecting bugs because there is a rumor going around about someone who collects bugs and laughs. Maomao, confused, tells her that she has been collecting lizard tails, not bugs, and she stopped after she collapsed. Maomao thinks about who he could be, but doesn't say anything. Later, Maomao is out with Xiaolan. She asks her for Shisui, but no one knows where she is. Maomao, however, knows that the girls know, but are scared to talk. She pulls out a handkerchief left by Jinchi and bribes them. Armed with the information, Maomao goes to the northern side of the palace and discovers white blossoms. She remembers that this flower is used for an abortion drug. Maomao explains the incidents that happened between Xin and Lihua and how the perfumes would have led to a miscarriage. She explains that there are lots of ingredients to create an abortion drug around the palace, but Xin got her abortion drug from the caravan. Maomao explains that Xin was taught how to make poison because she had no prior knowledge of it. Suddenly, the bush shakes and Shisui jumps out to catch a bug. One flies on Maomao's head, and she squishes it. Later, Shisui apologizes for what she did. After they sit down together, she goes on a rant about the nature of the bugs shocking Maomao. Suddenly, they hear a sound and rush to see what's happening. They witness the Empress Dowager walking in the street. Maomao explains that she is the emperor's mother and looks very young for her age. Shisui, curious, wonders if she is going to the clinic. She goes on to explain to Maomao that the Empress Dowager founded the clinic back when she had a lot of power but couldn't make it official. She goes on to tell her that the Empress is very kind and was behind the banning of slaves and eunuchs. Maomao ponders if her visit to the clinic has anything to do with the incident in the Crystal Pavilion. Maomao thinks the Empress could bring about big reform to the situation. Maomao notices that the ladies in waiting are particularly on edge and thinks that somebody might be paying a visit to them. Later, Lady Anshi visits Gyokuyo's residence. As they sit and dine, Maomao finds it kind of weird and explains that it seems like two friends are having dinner as opposed to daughter-in-law and mother-in-law. Gyokuyo then carries her daughter to put her to sleep, leaving Maomao and the Empress with her maid in the room. The Empress explains to Maomao that she can solve the situations, to which Maomao agrees. The Empress then asked Maomao if she can find out if she put a curse on her late husband, shocking her. Later, Maomao thinks about her words. Maomao explains that she only ever hears people speak negatively of the emperor, calling him a pedophile. She then goes on to explain that taking a very young wife was part of a political marriage, but the emperor deliberately went after young girls, even though there were women in his age bracket. She explains that the empress has a scar on her stomach from giving birth to the current emperor at a young age. She had to get a C-section. She explains that her father was the one spearheading the operation, and she was able to give birth to her second son. Maomao thinks that Jinchi might be the emperor's brother and is in shock. Later, the empress invites the 4 high-ranking concubines to a tea party. Maomao explains that there might be tension since the 4 parties will meet. Hongniang then calls Maomao into a room, telling her that she will be the taste tester for the tea party. This will show the empress that they trust her. Hongniang realizes that Maomao has a task to do for the empress and warns her not to betray Lady Gyokuyo. Later, Maomao meets up with the empress's maid. She takes her to another part of the palace that is abandoned. They stop in a room, and she shows Maomao where the empress used to live. This is the same place where the emperor died. It is explained that the emperor and his wife used to live there, but his spirit weakened and he died. Maomao is shot at this being that the emperor was very young. The maid told her that he was old enough to die in natural death. She goes on to tell her that the Empress Dowager thinks she cursed him because she wished for him to go away every day. However, what was shocking to them was the body did not deteriorate when they went to bury him, even though a year had passed. Maomao is curious about this incident. The servant tells Maomao that the building will be torn down soon, and she would like for her to solve this case. Maomao agrees, then tells her she has one request.